Welcome back to the Friday Night Endzone. Phil Byrne and Chelsea Brown bringing you all your sports coverage. Get you ready for Florida, Georgia. We're live in Jacksonville, just on the banks of the St. Johns River. And of course, every single week I bring you a couple of storylines that you're going to want to pay attention for in that upcoming Gators game. It's what we call Phil's 5, and here's this week's edition on the Florida-Georgia game. Number 5, put pressure on Grayson Lambert. The Gators secondary is talented enough to make life difficult for Georgia's receivers. If the Florida front 7 can apply pressure, the Gators should be in great shape. Number 4, conversely, the Gators need to keep Treon upright. They need to protect Treon Harris. Expect Georgia to put a few hard hits on Treon Harris if they have time to do so. We all know about the lack of depth behind Treon, and he's going to need to play the whole game. Number 3, play smart football. The Bulldogs already have 2 losses in conference play and could play desperate from the opening kick. UF needs to watch out for a trick play or two as UGA tries to swing momentum in their favor. On offense, Treon Harris needs to continue to do a good job of making sound decisions and not turning the ball over. Number 2, get an early lead. If the Gators can score first and add to it, it will put Georgia in a world of hurt. The Bulldogs offense hasn't shown that it's capable of coming back from big leads against talented defenses. If you make a running team abandon the run, they're in trouble. And number 1 contains Sony Michel. He's not Nick Chubb or Todd Gurley, but the talented running back from South Florida is skillful in his own right. He's what makes the Bulldog offense go. If you can limit him to under 100 yards of rushing, you're probably walking out of Jacksonville with a win and one step closer to playing in Atlanta.
Jacksonville by car, and some even come a few days early to park their RVs. But for the truly dedicated fans, they bring their boats to Florida, Georgia.
Well, on the boat, we've been coming out 7 years, and before that, we tailgated probably for 40.
Well, we did 18 years with a guy over here that we haven't seen in probably 10 years, and he just was backing in. I'm going like, blue eyes.
A trip down memory lane brings these boaters back to great moments of the Florida-Georgia game.
Buck Ballou beating us in 19 whatever it was. We remember Danny Warfel and Chris Goring.
Who's our cousin?
While it could get rowdy in the stadium bleachers, it's definitely not choppy waters for these rivals.
I mean, we have gone twice and sat in the middle of Georgia fans, and they've been great.
And on the dock here, everybody's really nice, and we got some Georgia people over behind us and some Georgia people over here, and you know, over the years we just meet them all, so we all catch up at this time of year and have a good time.
And for Georgia fans, the feeling is mutual.
We have a great time, and we've gotten to know all of these other voters around here.
As for game day predictions, we'll just have to chalk this up to something they'll probably never agree on.
We've been greatly, surprised at how good we've done this year. So, we want to keep that momentum going.
I think that Georgia's going to win it with a field goal. That's
very specific. I like it.
All right, as the Gators are now less than 24 hours away from their biggest divisional game of the year, we now know how next season shapes up. Here's a look at the Gators' 2016 regular season schedule. The fun gets started next year with 3 straight home games. The Massachusetts Minutemen are welcome into the Swamp on September 3rd to open the season. The next 2 weeks, we'll see the Gators open SEC play with a home game against Kentucky and a game against North Texas on September 17th.
The Gators will spend consecutive weeks in Tennessee with a trip to Rocky Top on September 24th and Vanderbilt on October 1st. 1 week later, Leonard Fournette and company come to town for what should be a big game. LSU is on October 8th. Missouri comes in the following week on October 15th. The Gators get their traditional bye week before Florida, Georgia on October 22nd, and 1 week later on October 29th, it's Florida, Georgia.
November 5th, the Gators will hit the road to play Arkansas. No Steve Spurrier with South Carolina anymore. UF will see their new coach come to town on September 12th, and Gators wrap things up with a home game against FCS-level Presbyterian and road game on September 26th against Florida State. That's all the time we've got on the Friday Night Endzone. Florida, Georgia, tomorrow, CBS 4. You won't want to miss it at 3:30. For Chelsea Brown, I'm Phil Byrne. Good night from Jacksonville.